Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Elise. I am an astrologer in Toronto, Canada, and this is my newsletter for the full moon of Taurus happening on October 31st, 2020. This newsletter will be sent out to my community. If you're interested in signing up for my newsletter, please visit my website at saraheliseastrology.com. Okay, so on Saturday, we have a full moon at 8 degrees of Taurus. The moon is in Taurus. The sun is in Scorpio. So, what can I tell you about this full moon that will be of service to you? The thing that I've been kind of tracking since Mars went retrograde on September the 10th is a need to come in and connect and collect our sense of primal will force in respect to the structures and the constructs that we've been working on dissolving and that we've been working on becoming aware of in 2020. So while on the outside world we see the structures that we're, that we've found significant, so the structures that we in the past have trusted or that we've just accepted, as these have started to show the cracks and show their fallibility and to fall apart before our eyes, there's been this call since September, in fact, since a little bit earlier than that, since August when Mars was squaring our stellium in Capricorn. The calling has been to reconnect deeply with our sense of primacy, our sense of essential self, our sense of will, our sense of power, our sense of agency, our sense of pure alignment to what we want to be, our freedom to be, right? In connection with the social structures and the social rules and the social conformity and the social constructs that we have been bumping up against this year. So there's been this unbelievable tension between these two qualities for us the last couple of months. And as we lead up to this full moon, I want to just acknowledge that it almost feels right now that we are being pressed. There's this like pressure on everybody right now. It feels almost like we're being squeezed internally, and we're being asked to come into such fine alignment with ourself, right? If you can just track that flow or that inner sense of self, that inner will force, that primacy of being, if you can just find it inside of the right, the noise and the things that are getting in our way and the rules that we're trying to break, and this is happening internally as well as it's happening externally. I mean, clearly externally we can see this happening with the COVID resurgence of the COVID and the election we're having in the United States, and uprisings and political unrest around the world. We can see that, on the outside, we have all of this kind of craziness and this fear and this mania and this panic. And on the inside, there's, again, this desire just to find our freedom, find who we are within this, connect deeply with self within this chaos or within this reckoning that's happening collectively and socially on the planet. The way that it's happening internally, these structures or rules or forms that you may be bumping up against are karma, essentially. You're bumping up against the darkness in yourself, or the things that you've held on to, or the things that the tried and true, the trusted forms that you created in some past life or some prior life or some current life in a prior time, whatever it might be, whatever constructs, whatever conditioning you're carrying on all levels of your being. This conditioning has been up for reform this year. And this is like our final thrust through that. It's our final pass in this Pluto transit that we've all been experiencing together, this transformational transit. We're near the end of it, guys. Like, we're really close. And it's at this time of a Pluto transit when the diamond is forming, okay? The pressure is so hot. The pressure is so much that the diamond is literally being formed. So it's painful, but it's pain worth feeling. There's something happening alchemically in us right now, right? There's a merging and a melding. There's a transformation taking place. It's literally now is when the magic happens, okay? As we step toward the denouement of this transit, and as we move into January, this is going to be this is going to be gone. We're going to feel a completely different energy, a complete renewal. But for this last quadrant, for this last 2 months, we have to diligently hold our focus and hold our attention and hold the tension inside ourselves, hold the tension so that we don't lose it. We don't lose it and devolve. We don't want to devolve. We want to evolve, okay? We want to break the forms. Now, what's happening on Saturday with our full moon is a liberation from form. If there's been stuff that you can't see, if there are things inside of you that you felt like you've been battling with, but you're not really sure what it is, it's like you've been moving toward it. It's been coming, but you haven't been able to quite get a handle on it yet. Saturday with moon conjunct Uranus, exact degree, should give us the impetus to liberate or to accelerate the transformation that we're all leaning into. Okay, there's like a culmination and an explosion of energy. It's like an explosion of regeneration. It's taking the form Taurus, whatever structure or form we have, whatever we've created, our creation in Taurus, and blowing it up. Not only because it's a full moon with Scorpio sun opposite, but because of the Uranian influence. And Uranus is always that quality for us that is like, it's almost like higher mind comes in. It's like pennies from heaven dropping in, and they drop down, and whatever Uranian energy hits, it just kind of breaks it up. It brings higher intuitive information down, and it helps us to break the structures, to really just fracture them and crack them open so that we can liberate ourselves from the old forms. And it's no chance that, Taurus, which is the sign of form, it's the sign of attached, very, very attached. Taurus is very loyal to the things that it creates, to the things that it loves, to the things it's loyal to, what it wants, what it values, what it needs. It holds these forms really close, really personal. So don't be surprised on Saturday if you get some surprises, some shocks to this system that you are, to the things that you may have felt comfortable with or attached to, or significantly aligned with or identified with, right? The things that you've created and that you assumed were yours. This stuff is all up, and it's up for liberation. And the other thing I wanted to talk about with Uranus, with Uranian impact, it's like at a lower level, our personalities, when they're impacted by Uranus, the personality feels affronted. It feels like it's uncomfortable. It feels edgy. It doesn't feel comfortable at all. Like at a lower self level, Uranus feels discordant and disharmonious, and it's like getting screamed at in the ears, and it's like, I don't like this feeling, and you just want to get out of it. But at a higher level, if you can just like kind of chill out and like pull back into yourself and just receive what's coming in and try and connect higher and kind of try to ride the current, what's really happening is like a high level, a high frequency of information is coming in, isn't it? A high level, a high degree of information is coming in. So the quality of connectedness really matters on this full moon. So spending time to make sure that we're in alignment with our higher self or our higher mind, so that we're not just getting kind of torn up at the lower level, because it will be discordant to the lower frequency, right? Like Uranian energy does come in and break up lower form. But if we're identifying with the lower form, or we're identifying with the higher frequency, that's going to make the ride quite different, right? Because at some level, it's all going to happen, but where our perception is along that trajectory of happening is going to mean a different experience, depending on where you're accessing it. If this makes sense to you, and if you understand what I'm talking about, great. And if not, my apologies. It's a little esoteric. but nevertheless, that's what I wanted to offer you, is just this information and an affirmation that we are in the diamond phase of our Pluto transit. So the transformation that we've all been working on in 2020 is coming to an end. It's coming to a close. We're in the final stages of reconciliation and adjustment and alchemical transformation that are going to guide us forward into 2021. So take this final opportunity, right? Take this opportunity to really honor what's going on inside, to pull in and to reclaim your sacred ground, to reclaim your inner space, and to honor yourself and hold the tension with your higher mind, higher self. Hold it up so that you don't devolve into the muck that's getting transformed at the moment, right? If we attach to the muck too much, we can get pulled back into it and we can go down the ladder. You want to hold yourself erect. You want to hold yourself high and continue to affirm the higher truth, or the higher self, or the higher minded, like affirm that it's gonna be okay is what I'm trying to say. Affirm that it's gonna be okay. And as we go through this transformative phase, this last cycle, it's not a simple thing. It's not easy and it's not comfortable. It's discomfort and it's pressure, but we just have to hold ourselves strong, okay, and face what's coming up with a brave heart, and just stand in the wake of it. Stand in the wake of it and stand strong, okay? So that message, and leading into the full moon, I think what we'll find on the full moon is we'll find a friendly energy that's helping us liberate, accelerating this liberation from these forms that will, it'll be the impetus to change at a very base level, an impetus to transformation, and an ability to do so with grace and with intuitive guidance. Now, we may be faced with visions or understandings or intuitions on Saturday that come from out of nowhere, or that seem to arise in an abrupt manner. Take what you see to heart, and honor it, and use it, okay? Uranus is a liberation, but it will bring a clarity, or it will bring like a truthfulness into your being, into your body, so that you can see what's happening. It's an illuminating energy. So that's it. Now the full moon is happening in the morning. I think it's around 9:45 Eastern Standard. So keep aware of that, and just watch the current. I think that's the big theme heading into it. Okay, we're going to have an interesting November. We have on November 4th, Mercury goes direct. Thank goodness. This has been an intense Mercury retrograde period. A lot of pulling in and repeating and revisiting old stories, yeah. But in this very new way, like almost staying on top of them, which is a blessing. And we have November 14th, Mars going direct. So we have, another week to 2 weeks of these personal planets in retrograde before they start to speed up and go forward again, and before we head into December. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.